colleagues do on this panel, it's Donald Trump, baby.
Yep.
It's all about Donald Trump, right? The old pivot. We're not going to talk about what's going on in Somalia and not going to talk about what's going on in Minnesota with this massive fraud scandal. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. With my remaining seconds, can we play the video I have, Mr. Chairman?
This hearing quickly turned into a tense political exchange as Representative Eli Crane raised questions about allegations of fraud connected to government-funded food assistance programs in Minnesota. The issue has drawn national attention after federal investigators uncovered what prosecutors have described as one of the largest fraud schemes tied to pandemic-era relief funding. According to court filings, several individuals have already been charged in connection with a program intended to provide meals for children during the COVID-19 pandemic. Across the aisle, Representative Ilhan Omar pushed back strongly against the narrative being presented during the hearing. She argued that many of the claims circulating online about the case were exaggerated or based on unverified sources, and warned that the way the issue was being framed could unfairly target immigrant communities and spread misinformation. What began as a discussion about program oversight and accountability quickly expanded into a much broader political clash. Lawmakers on both sides accused the other of distorting the issue, one side emphasizing the need to investigate potential misuse of taxpayer funds, and the other warning against politicizing an ongoing criminal investigation.
Who was literally creeping
that tension set the stage for a heated moment that would soon unfold during the hearing.
Making claims about fraud that were not there, and then the vice president and the FBI director were retweeting these videos without even verifying if they were true. So we're not accusing people of being xenophobic and racist. They are being xenophobic and racist, including the President of the United States. And I want to say, for one, that I stand with the Somali and the immigrant community standing here today.
Mr. Hudson, are you just hearing from Republicans on this, or are Democrat constituents like, oh my God, I'm struggling to put my kids in school, struggling to make ends meet, and my tax dollars are being robbed by people, and then they're sending it all over the place, and this is complete fraud. What is going on, and why hasn't anything been done about it?
I'll give you a personal example. So my family, my in-laws in particular, are politically diverse. A lot of them vote for Democrats, and they're fairly apolitical. They're not like me, all plugged in. And so I kind of use them as a bellwether for what the people are thinking. Across the board, everybody is upset about this fraud.
And I'm guessing when you guys bring this up, whether it's to the Walz administration, whether it's to the AG, the number one thing that comes back at you is you're a racist, you're a white supremacist, or you're an Islamophobe. As we've seen Governor Walz now trying to answer for these questions, he's doing it at the national level. Do you guys hear the same thing at the state level as well?
Yes, absolutely. They always pivot to the divisive. As I stated in my opening statement, it's diversion, right? We're going to talk about personalities. We're going to talk about partisan politics. We're going to find some way to get people yelling at each other rather than looking at the problem.
Or, like you've heard my colleagues do on this panel, it's Donald Trump, baby.
Yep.
It's all about Donald Trump, right? The old pivot. We're not going to talk about what's going on in Somalia and not going to talk about what's going on in Minnesota with this massive fraud scandal. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. With my remaining seconds, can we play the video I have, Mr. Chairman?
horta aad iyo aadaan ugu faraxsanahay in maanta safaari aan soo gaarnay sida dadka badan ay u og yihiin ciyaalkeena yaryar ilaa iyo number la eg 20 milyan oo ciyaal iskooley ah waxay cuntadooda ka helaan iskoolka kaliya marka waxaan fursad u helnay in aan sharci soo gudbino oo la dhahayo Meals Act oo u fududeynayo in waqtigaanay pandemic aan ku jirno oo dhalinyarada iskoolka aynan joogin oo guryahooda ay joogaan aynan gaajoonin oo familkoodi wili ay fursad u helaan in cunto ay helaan oo meelo qaarkood laga qaybinayo ay cuntada ka soo qaadan karaan marka aadaan ugu mahad celinaya safari in ay tahay meelaha city oo diyaarinayo cunto maalin kasto dhalinyarada ciyaalkii iyo familkoodina ku taakuleynaayo cuntada city maalintii kaliya safari waxay cunto siisaa 2300 oo ciyaal ah iyo familkooda taas waa mid muhiim ah sida aad u ogtihiin dhalinyaro badan gaajo ku nool wadankaanayti ama familkooda fursad u helin in quraac qada iyo casho ay siiso marka in qadada city ay meel ka helaan aad ay u muhiimsan tahay bishan ramadaanka oo familiyaalkeena badan iyagoo aan shaqo haysanin iyagoo aan taakulayn kaleeta helaynin in aynan ka walwalin ciyaalkooda yaryar sidii ay qado ku siin lahaayeen waa muhiim marka waxaan u mahadcelinayaa safaariyo kaleeta iyo dadka badan oo maalin ilaahay keeno fursad u qaatay in ay u volunteer gareeyaan oo ay taakuleeyaan familiyaalka.
One thing that is so alarming is the reporting that many of these fraudulent companies are then donating the stolen money back to the same Democrats that are protecting them and advocate for these very programs. Is that correct, Mr. Hudson?
I would agree with that statement.
Well, we just had one of my Democrat colleagues said these are just opinions. Do you know, are these guys donating money back to Democrats?
Yes, they are.
I'd like to enter into the record, Mr. Chairman, an article from Breitbart News saying, with the title being Database Searches Show Somali Fraudsters Funding Democrat Politicians. So these aren't opinions.
Without objection.
There's actually reporting on this. Are you guys aware? You guys are elected officials in Minnesota, right? Are you guys aware of the reporting that some of the stolen money is getting funneled back to the Islamic terror group Al-Shabaab in Somalia? Mr. Robbins.
Yes, sir. And we have evidence of it going back as far as 2012, where a man was convicted of sending $21,000 to Al-Shabaab. In 2011, 2 Minnesota women were convicted of sending money to different groups. Someone else.
What we're witnessing here reflects a much larger national debate surrounding the federal investigation into alleged fraud involving pandemic-era food assistance programs in Minnesota. Federal prosecutors have charged dozens of individuals in connection with the scheme, alleging that hundreds of millions of dollars intended to provide meals for children were instead obtained through fraudulent claims and false documentation. The investigation, often referred to in reporting as the Feeding Our Future case, has been described by authorities as one of the largest pandemic-related fraud cases in the United States. While those criminal cases are moving forward in federal court, the political debate surrounding the issue has become increasingly intense. Some lawmakers argue that the scale of the alleged fraud demonstrates serious weaknesses in how government relief programs were monitored and that Congress has a responsibility to investigate how such a large scheme could occur. Others argue that the discussion has been fueled by viral social media narratives that may not accurately reflect the details of the ongoing legal cases. This moment in the hearing captures that larger tension. On one side is the argument that taxpayers deserve clear answers about how public funds were spent and whether oversight mechanisms failed. On the other side is the concern that public debate about the investigation should rely strictly on verified evidence rather than politically charged claims circulating online. The clash between those two perspectives is exactly what we are seeing play out in this exchange. In the end, this exchange illustrates how congressional oversight hearings often become arenas for larger political debates. Questions about alleged fraud, government oversight, and the handling of taxpayer money are serious matters that require careful investigation and factual clarity. At the same time, lawmakers frequently disagree about how those issues should be presented to the public, particularly when criminal investigations are still ongoing. Supporters of a broader congressional investigation argue that cases like this demonstrate the need for stronger oversight of federal programs, especially those created rapidly during emergencies such as the COVID-19 pandemic. Critics, however, caution that political rhetoric surrounding the issue can sometimes amplify unverified claims or shift attention away from the legal process that is already unfolding in the courts. Ultimately, the facts of the fraud allegations will continue to be determined through ongoing prosecutions and investigations. But hearings like this reveal how deeply divided lawmakers remain over how those facts should be interpreted and discussed in the political arena. What do you think? Should Congress expand its oversight into cases like this to better understand how such large fraud schemes can happen, or should lawmakers allow the judicial process to play out before drawing broader political conclusions? Share your perspective in the comments below. And if you want more fact-based breakdowns of congressional hearings, policy debates, and major moments unfolding on Capitol Hill, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next analysis.